Yeah. I said I wouldn't read the letter. That's what I said.
Good morning.
And I didn't.
Good morning to all
you
the
come in
listeners
here. You come in here
Rob
a couple of
Darby's
minutes
breakfast
before
program.
I even start, and you start picking on me. That's not very wise.
Excuse me, Robert.
We broke a story here.
Robert, not denying anything about what you've been doing on this program.
There are more than 3 formats of radio, Nathan.
The Board of Management has had a meeting after a letter of complaint was received.
Yes.
We have the information of that person who wishes to remain
and
anonymous.
And they are anonymous. I never said anything. I just said that if people want to save the show, they should write their letters of support.
A little over an hour ago, the chairman, myself, and Vice Chairman James Kennedy spoke with Robert, obviously slightly before he was due to go to air with today's program, following our meeting last night, and a phone conversation that was had yesterday.
It's not even an accurate letter. It's not even an accurate letter. I said on air the guy didn't like me. And I'm being picked on because I'm criticising Star FM. They shut down their newsroom, folks. If there's not an independent voice to report on that stuff around here, your choices of radio are going down the tubes.
The Board of Management has no issue with the local news. We discussed with the newsreaders this morning.
Yeah, but they're not allowed. We're not allowed to even come back and do satire after the actual broadcast. Nathan, the world is full of diverse radio. You should take some time to listen to it. It would do your education so much better.
The Board of Management
and I can't help it if you say to me that we've got a really good relationship with Star FM. That's not my problem. That's not my problem. They're going to shut their news service, which is going to take.
Terminate this broadcast.
Okay, I thought you would.
The board will release a public statement. Within the next 1 hour. Thank you very much.
And the lines fell silent. And that was the second time I got kicked off the same stuff. Well, that's kind of in a way, it was sort of the third time I got kicked off. But that was the final one, folks, in 2004, because that's why I say community radio is absolutely buggered in this country. It's the Dumbed Down Atheist short version special episode, Simon! And it was an enormous gap of silence, too, because he had to wait for me to pack up my stuff. So that's what I say. Like, not all community radio is buggered, but that was in the beautiful township of Mount Gambier where we lived. And as you might have gathered from that poisonous little interlude, see, I sort of shamed him onto going to air because he was coming in picking on me while the music was on. And I said, I dare you to go to air and say this. I kind of put him in it. And it's funny, like how art imitates life, imitates art, imitates life, art imitates life, because if you saw the movie Private Parts where Howard Stern was suffering with his PD, pig vomit virus, it was amazing just what a resemblance there was between that and that. Anyway, so Simon wrote my 5-star review. So this is episode Simon. If your name is not Simon and you didn't write me my review, where Simon said on iTunes that please just do the show for me. And I take it back about no POMs. There are some POMs who have listened and downloaded the show, but they've done it from Spreaker.web thing, right? But not from iTunes. But there's Kenya, South Africa, Germany, the Netherlands. Did I say them already? Holland, the Netherlands, the Dutch. And the whole thing is really expanding, and there's more and more people. But this is episode Simon of the Dumbed Down Atheist. As I said, some weeks I will take little detours away from where we were, and I want to fill Simon in because he's such a fan of the shows. Please send money, Simon, in brown envelopes stuffed with cash, if you will. A little more down on the PayPal and credit card things. I would really prefer the cash, Simon. Okay, bud? And don't forget, folks, if you would like a show done just for you, then you need to write me a 5-star review on iTunes. I can be bought. Yes, I can. So that was the second time I got kicked off of the public station there. The commercial station, which was an amalgamation of AM and FM, which had sort of been taken over by some outside force in the town. And I did originally work for that station for about 5 weeks. We moved interstate from this other public radio station I was working at, which at the time I thought was full of political intrigue and infighting and everything. Believe me, it was a picnic in comparison to ending up in Mount Gambier at 5GDR FM. Suddenly I looked back on all the stoushes we'd had in the other place, and I thought, that was a breeze. I mean, there were factions and there were political this, that, the other. And I thought it was intolerable. I spoke to my friend the other day who was on air with me there, and he said, oh, you know what it was like? And I said, believe me, when we moved, it was worse. So I worked for the commercial station for about 5 minutes and then thought, what have I got myself into? So I kind of got courted by the public station, and then I had a spell with them, and then it had enough, and I was off for a few years and got back on as the breakfast person years later, largely because there was this fella who rang up the station all the time called Dean, who always requested Roy Orbison songs. Every 5 seconds of the day, he requested Roy Orbison songs. So I thought, this guy is so persistent, he is so dogged. Wouldn't it be funny if I recorded a parody song for him? And because I still had a couple of mates who were on air, and got them to play it when he rang up for his request. So he rang up, and then he would ring up, any Roy you like, just put it on. Now, Dean and I ended up becoming great friends, and eventually when the breakfast thing became available, due to a bit of a groundswell because of that song, someone said, you should bring him back, give that guy a chance to do it. Now, the poisonous little Nathan person that kicked me off there, I know was really down on it, but he kind of got outvoted. So I ended up on air, and just basically from day one, there was a war. But have a listen to the parody. Hang on a sec. Oh, hey now, you better listen to me, every one of you. We've got a lot of requests to get through. Forget the Rolling Stones Queen and that old Oasis scene. Today, Dean's ringing up again. Well, he's racking them up, the jocks are laying them down. I believe the only lonely one is doing his round. The beer's cold in the shed, pretty woman rings in our heads, and Dean's won the pizza again. Justin's ringing up again, the Beagle's greatest fan. He's gonna make a request, Dean's ringing up again. Well, the phone was the quietest I drove all night. Uh-oh, someone's ringing on the line. Well, Dean will greet me tonight. There'll be a hell of a fight if I don't answer it on time. Justin's ringing up again, the Beagle's greatest fan. He wants to make a request. Dean's ringing up again. Dean puts in his order, he gets more than he ordered. The guy is always on the line. One more song for Teresa makes Dean a happy geezer, and everything is gonna be fine. The DJs slave away, they don't get no pay, cause they're donating their time. Dean likes the company and the telephony. We might have to get a silent line. Justin's ringing up again, the Beagle's greatest fan. He wants another request. He's ringing up again. He's ringing up again. The Beagle's greatest fan. Oh, not another request. He's ringing up again.
Please check the number before calling again. You have not been charged for this call.
And I tormented the life out of Dean because he really wanted to meet me, and I really made him wait and wait and wait till eventually he came along to a gig one night and he worked out it was me. So with the strength of that, they put me onto breakfast, and then and we're talking a volunteer capacity here. There was a small amount of money, like $15 a week or something, and I said, the station said, Paul, I don't want it, it's fine, I'm happy to do it. And I thought, well, since you're getting something for practically nothing, you wouldn't be that much of a grizzlepuss, would you? Oh no, folks, because the thing that you learn about community type stations is that often people with very small amounts of talent. And there's nothing wrong with having small amounts. Like, when I was at the previous station, there were people who started and people used to bitch on about, oh, he sounds terrible on air. They should be kicked off and all this, right? Because I was the production manager and sort of part-time manager of the station prior to that, because I'd done all this production and was doing the breakfast show there and the same thing, and then eventually they offered me like a paid job. This is the previous station when we lived in Melbourne. So I was the first person to defend anybody, okay? You know, I said, yeah, but this is what public radio is about. Not everyone comes here, can talk at 1 billion miles an hour about any bullshit like me, and everyone's got to start somewhere, and you've got to support people. So I didn't worry if people weren't incredibly talented for shifts and stuff, because I'd say they've got to start somewhere, and if you don't encourage them, they won't get better. Okay, so we had a lot of people come through, and so, you know, but the unfortunate thing is, it's the people without very much talent who then love to get themselves in positions of power. They'll get on the board. They'll do whatever they can, like, I got to have power over people. So anyone who's not as good as them will get picked on, and anyone who's, well, quite frankly, better than them will get picked on, because that's how it is. And it's like I said, the trouble is it's radio for the people, but so often the wrong people get the positions of power. So I came on, and it started from the word go. I used to open up with my theme music, which I don't really use here because of copyright shit. But then they said, oh, no, we don't want that. No, you mustn't use that. There's a station sting. I said, yeah, but this is a volunteer station. I'm allowed to do what I want in my 2 hours. You're getting your news, you're getting your weather, and the weather, oh man, if I made one little joke about something, you can't do the weather like that, you mustn't do it. And I'm thinking, the way you guys carry on, you think you're paying me $5,000 a week. You're paying me nothing. And then people started ringing in and they would say how much they loved the show, and then I started getting showered with gifts. And then all the people on the work sites started listening. And after I was kicked off, when we were moving, we needed to do some repairs to our house because we decided enough's enough, and we came back to Victoria. And this guy came to our house to do some tiling. And then he looked up and he goes, you are the same Rob Darby, aren't you? And I said, same what one? He goes, oh, we used to listen to your show, all the guys on the building sites and everything. Man, we were pissed off when you got kicked off. And I said, did you complain? Yeah, we complained. But the thing is, people never became members, so they didn't have the power, you know what I mean? So I said, I bet you've never listened to the station again. He goes, no, we never listen to that now. We've changed. We don't bother. So the show was getting sponsorship. The taxi company in the town started to advertise on the show. So in the end, the show was doing very well in terms of bringing money in, but it shows the poisonous nature. Now, as I said, the conglomerate up the road decided to outsource their news from Queensland or wherever it was. We broke the story, and that was the end of it. Because the thing in public radio too is most people are sucking up there to try and get up the road to get a job at commercial radio. So no one likes to poke fun at anybody. And it wasn't funny because you're stuck in a little town. You need all the local news gathering you can get. It had already been proven that when the news was coming from thousands of miles away, they were mispronouncing towns, getting stories wrong, like someone had accidentally filed copy from some other city in a different state and it had accidentally get read on the news. So prior to that anyway, and at the previous station in Melbourne, I'd called out for volunteer newsreaders, people to come and read the news and get a bit of practice. And we had some famous type people eventually come through. Raphael Epstein, who's now on ABC Radio in Melbourne, 774. He was a volunteer newsreader at the previous station. My wife, who was a journalist, that's how we met. She came to volunteer to read news. She was already working in print, as was Raphael Epstein, as were a lot of people. And then there were other kids who were just in high school, and there were people who just said, I'd like to have a go at it. So, of course, at the station in Mount Gambier, I thought, well, I've got the breakfast shift. Now I should start bringing some volunteers in to start reading news. Ah, well, there you go. Now we've got board of management. You can't let these strangers come in here. They'll be stealing stuff. You don't. Then you can't do this. You mustn't. Basically, you mustn't share. You mustn't share. You know, that's what it was really about. Anyway, So, for example, if I was reading the weather and making a little joke, the one thing I got in incredible trouble for was this.
I came on one morning and I read it as an alien. Oh, I'm an alien. And the people thought it was funny.
Because you got to remember, it's only a little town in the middle of nowhere. They're crying out for some fun. So I got another letter about that. Do not start the show with your theme. You must not do the... You must not... Anyway, during the time of that show, that's where old Nev came from.
Yep, sure did.
See, Nangwarry was just up the road from Mount Gambier. And that's how Nev came along. And any time Nev CDs were given out as prizes, which I've still got a few, actually.
Yeah.
Simon, if you furnish me your details, I'll send you Nev's Christmas album if you want. You can email me. Anyone can email me, actually. You know my name's Robert Darby, right? You got that? Got a pen?
Yeah.
Pause the podcast and go get a pen.
Jason, go get a pen.
Or just remember where you're up to now, right? And then just rewind it back to this spot, because I'll give an email address where you can write me.
God, he rabbits on.
Right? You ready? Right? We're doing a bit different this show.
Get on with it.
And I've got to keep it quick, and I'm not doing too well, because I've only got 37 megs of upload till my next bit comes free. Jeez. Okay, it's treborybrad. Who? Treborybrad. Treborybrad, which is TREBORYBRAD, which is Robert Darby backwards. See? Trebor, Robert backwards, Ibrad, Darby backwards, see? YBRAD, treborybrad at gmail.com. At gmail.com. Simon. Now, where was I? Oh, yes. So, we had lots of fun, and then Nev came about, and there's still about 25 episodes in the can.
In the dunny.
It's pretty much par for the course, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I never much cared for that station myself, Darby, you know. It was a bit touch and go, wasn't it? People always turned their nose up at me when I walked in that place. It was like I had a bad smell.
No, it wasn't like you had a bad smell. You still do have a bad smell, even though we've moved.
Well, they shouldn't have complained. I always unclogged their dunnies for them.
Yeah, but after a night on the Nangwarry takeaway, you were the one that clogged it up in the first place.
Yeah, but if you want a job done properly, do the job yourself. That's what I say.
No one's interested in your jobbies, Nev. So, in Australia, they have a weekly radio syndicated 4-minute, 3-minute thing called, I think it's daily, How Green Was My Cactus, where stations pay a lot of money to have this little thing inserted, and
where do they put it?
They sell advertising, and it's supposed to be funny and parody-like, and it is kind of funny most of the time, sort of, I guess.
No, bloody painful.
And, of course, the little public station's got no money, so that's how Nev from Nangwarry came about, because I figured if I created it, then we'd have something to sell. Our team of hapless salespeople could go out and actually have something they could sell, you see. My aim was to bring money in. And so people would say, I hate that Darby, he's so self-promoting. And
he's a big head.
I'd say, well, yeah, that's true, I am self-promoting, because that is what this business is about. But at the same time, I don't believe in just taking everything for me. I'm very, very happy to have that go to air and for the station to get the money. I don't want to be paid, okay? I'm okay. It helps the place out. But see, the more you try and do, the more people try and undo you, is what happens. So I tried to do lots of production and stuff, and some of the things that came out of it were like this little ditty.
Come on, Jason, up you get. Come on, son, come on. Come on, move it. Jason, get out of here. Come on. Little song for you, son. Get up, get out of bed, sleepyhead. Get up, get out of bed. This is Nev. Get up, and get out of bed. Get out of bed. Get up, did you hear what I said? I said, get up, you make yourself a cup. I said, get out of bed. Well, you put one foot down on the floor and then you repeat that procedure 1 time more. Scoot across to the smallest room and... oh, that's quite a fume. In the dark, you creep across the mat and then you tread in something brought in by that cat.
Oh, get up, yelled Uncle Nev, and then he threw water on my head.
Get up, get up, get up.
No, I cried.
Shut up and get out of bed. Ha ha. Well, you know, Jason, you're going to face the day with a big wide grin, because moping about, son, it'll do you. And wrote that myself.
Oh, I hear you, Uncle Nev, but can't I just go back to bed?
No, people's pipes, they're full of muck. That reminds me, did you put me thermos and our sandwiches in the tray?
Oh, yes, Uncle Nev.
Get up, get up, get out of bed, sleepyhead. Get up, and hear what I said. I said, get up, and make yourselves a buck. I said, get up, get out of bed. Get up, get out of bed. Get up, get out of bed. Get up, sleepyhead. This is Nev. Hear what I said? I said, get out of bed. Get up, 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 get out of bed.
And the thing is, too, when you're stuck in a little town, because Mount Gambier is kind of, it's 400 kilometres from anything. It's only just over the Victorian border, so a lot of people think, oh, that's in Victoria, but it's not. It's in South Australia. And if you want any sort of liveliness outside of the town, it's a 400 and nearly 500 kilometre drive in each direction to go to either capital city, so to go to Melbourne or Adelaide. And the thing I noticed with Nev was that because Nev was a local identity, he really struck a chord with people.
Loved
and
I am.
In later episodes, which you'll hear if this podcast keeps, which it will keep going, some of the gags and some of the things were actually sent in by listeners, people who said, well, a long way away, there's an episode, I really don't want to give it away. All right, Simon, I'll get you, dragged it out of me. There's an episode where Nev gets captured by pirates. Of course there is. There's also an episode where Nev gets tangled up with the Scientologists too. There's lots of episodes coming. And in order for the pirates not to kill him, he agrees to give them a necklace which is full of gold rings and diamonds and all this. And this was the idea for that came from a guy who was a listener to the show, who worked in a business in town, who knew someone who was a septic sucker, and he showed him this chain which was full of gold rings and diamonds and stuff. And over the years, he had extracted all that from sucking out people's septic services because they'd filtered stuff through and had found this stuff. And as he said to my friend, well, maybe I made that bit up, I can't remember, in order to find gold, you got to go through a lot of shit. So things like that came about. The show started to organically just kind of open up, and you could call on people and they would come and do crazy things, which was unprecedented in that fucking station, because prior to that, you could have fucking said there's $1 million in a suitcase outside the station and no one would show up. See, I'm quite an avid fan of Howard Stern, and as he said, it doesn't matter what shit station you're on. If you do a good show, people will find you and they will come to you. And he's right. And that's what happened. And in that poisonous little diatribe at the start, the name James Kennedy was mentioned. And after we left Mount Gambier, James came to a very unfortunate end, which people didn't really want to talk about. But the point was, he drove himself out to the forest and set himself on fire and committed suicide. And there's some earlier shows when James just got to town before he'd managed to kick himself up to the vice presidency, and we were good friends. And we were. And there's a show, he was a UFO researcher and all this crap, and he came on and we did a whole show about UFOs, which was lighthearted and fun, and I always said to him, come be part of the show, because you're good at what you do. So it was really disappointing later, because I know he was hard up for money, and eventually they offered him the station manager's job and the thing, and even he turned, which was really feckin' sad. And it was sad the way he demised, and we never patched things up because, well, I was gone, and then I found out he topped himself, and what can you do? But anyway, so where was I? Oh, anyway, over the course of time, so we had all this, they just hadn't had this local sort of parody. It just never had happened in the history of the place. But old Icarus, fly too close to the sun, wings of wax melt. And we had a politician in the town who pretty much enjoyed, like no one ever really got stunk into him that much. And at one point he decided to extend the fishing quota to allow the fish in the ocean to sort of be ripped out at a greater amount. And then the local anglers, who were the amateurs, were sort of up in arms because I think, from memory, don't quote me, but I think their licence fees were more and they were allowed to have less of a catch. Meanwhile, boats could go out and suck the ocean dry from our so-called man of the people, Rory. So Rory had been in on the show a few times to be interviewed, and at one point I bumped into him at the airport, and he goes, this is before we fell out. So I had a lot of people against me in the end. He goes, you're quite a good interviewer because you get people all comfortable and then you whammy them. And so he was already getting a little bit wary of me. And at one point he came on air and accidentally mentioned the cocktail, the Cowboy Cocksucker, which he really panicked because he said, please don't play that as a sound. Please don't play it as a soundbite. I should go back and find it through the files. Maybe one day I will. But I kept my promise and I never did. But when he went crazy on the fish and we'd already fallen out and he was starting to blow me out for interviews, I came up with this little song called What's the Story, Rory? Now, that same guy who told me the story of the necklace, who'd become quite a good friend of the show, took a copy of the CD to Rory at one of his official luncheons, and Rory threw it on the ground and jumped on it with both feet and smashed it into little pieces. But, in a big city, politicians and that, they've got to take their lumps. They've got to be used to people are going to parody them and send them up. That doesn't always happen in a small place, though, does it? No, indeed it doesn't. So here's a little tune that we did for the show, and you can see, as I said, I'm slowly but surely getting ready to be knifed. I don't know, you get under people's skin, they crack the shits, I don't know why.
Any nibbles on the line yet, Jason?
No, Uncle Nev, I haven't caught a thing all day.
Used to be a lot more fish around when I was a boy. I guess you'd be feeling a bit pissed off with me, but vigilance is the price of democracy. Well, my mind's made up, we will succeed, cause what's going on is both madness and greed. Is he protesting again? What's he going on about?
I think we'll find out soon, Uncle Nev.
I can't remember the last time I hugged a tree, but soon there'll be no fish left in the sea. What? Is that why we've got nothing for the day? It seems you've missed your boarding call. We've watched you rise and soon we'll watch you fall.
Tip-off!
Cause you turned a blind eye to the cause, and it's time we checked your Santa Claus. There's no such thing as this Santa Claus. It's just made up. Hey, what's the story, Rory? What the fish is going on? Hey, what's the story, Rory? Will you be happy when all the fish are gone? Cause a week's a long time in politics, but something stinks and it's making me sick. Now this next bit, Jason, this is going to prove to you that letters to the editor in the paper are an invaluable resource of resources.
Protect resources, Uncle Nev.
Whiting biomass declines in free fall for the past 2 years or maybe a little more. And the Department of the Fisheries is funded by commercial license fees. Oh yeah, that's another chip gone from the block of democracy. Are we having fish with those chips? Egg production still remains unchanged.
No, Uncle Ned, that's what he's trying to tell you.
And the pendulum is swung too much one way. Minister, the fish in our seas belong to the community. Oh, this is bigger than you and me. It's even bigger than Nora's mother. Remove those hats that you've got on, and for a change, just try wearing one. Yeah.
Uncle Nev, you promised Darby you wouldn't do sexist jokes.
Well, what's the story, Rory? What the fish is going on? Sorry, Darby, I won't do that again. I'll sing with you. Hang on a minute. Here we go. What's the story, Rory? Will you be happy when all the fish are gone? Will you? Well, a week's a long time in politics, and something stinks, and it's making me sick. Oh. Right, now, Jason, this is the bit where we have a little pause to reflect, and then he'll start being funny again, and then he'll get serious, all right?
Modern day Tom Lehrer.
Well, soon there'll be no fish a frying, and you'll go off to a Fate West and Kerry O'Brien. Yeah, Or Ray, Naomi, or Willis, or at least State Line on the ABC. No, don't watch too much TV myself. Rots your brains. I think that's why Nora left me. This is a little song to cast a net.
Spanish fish?
No. If it catches on, it's a lesson you won't forget. Don't vacuum the sea of its fish, 'cause soon there'll be none on your dish.
Oh, no, hang on. Tom Lear is still alive. He'll have to be someone else.
And what of the future families who never will see fish in the seas? What about them? Huh? What about them? That's what I ask. Well, what's the story, Rory? What the fish is going on?
Maybe he'll have to be Patrick Cook.
Something's crook, all right. Sing it with me. Yeah, what's the story, Rory? Will you be happy when all the fish are gone?
No, not Crook. Cook.
Well, a week's a long time in politics, but something stinks and it's making me sick. 'Cause a week's a long time in politics and something stinks and it's making me sick. 'Cause a week's a long time in politics and there's something that stinks, it's making me sick. Cook? No, there's no fish to cook, no. And I resisted the temptation to say, are you in it for the guts or the glory, Rory? Oh, hang on, I mentioned it then. Oh, yeah. Apart from that, though, not at all.
Restraint is the key word, and I think they should put you in one.
I got an empty fry pan and the sound effect of someone getting hit in the head, but it's politically incorrect. I can't do it.
And it really makes me wish I had fucking well done it. Anyway, so that was the story of that. And now what was I going to say? You're listening to The Dumbed Down Atheist takes a slightly sidetracky bit for my 5-star reviewer, Simon, who has bothered. And so I've bothered for you too, Simon. Remember? Start stuffing that cash in the envelope now. So some of the episodes of Nev that didn't make it to the podcast because they sort of didn't make much sense, because, I mean, these were all done in about 2004, 2005. And when I run out of the 25 or so episodes that are coming, then I will have to start doing more. It ends on a cliffhanger, which I never got to redo the other episode because I got kicked off. Because in Australia at the moment we have the boat people. People are saying, you know, send them home, send a message, don't pick them up in the water, let them die, all this sort of crap. So in the end, poor old Nev and Jason, after they were trapped by the pirates, end up in a life raft floating back to Australia and are mistaken for refugees and are told that no one's going to help them. And so you never find out what happens. And when they say they're from Nangwarry, the snotty little politicians, of course, say, Nangwarry? Oh, never heard of it. Ho, 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 ho. No, piffle and poffle, off you go. Now, somewhere here I've got Nev's ad for the episode for Thingo and what's her name. I'll see if this is it. Hang on a second.
Well, I've been right up to my neck in it, and I'm never in a flurry. I'm Nev from Nangwarry. I don't know. Yep, no, that's who I am. Yep, no. All right, young Jason, you've had your breakfast. Stack the plates up over there.
Oh, Uncle Nev, there doesn't seem to be any room.
No, well, your Auntie Nora's still in Bali, and I haven't heard boo from a goose from her.
Isn't that supposed to be a ghost, Uncle Nev?
Stop talking and start listening, Jason. We're off to make me new advertisement for the wireless.
Oh, boy, we're going to be on Twinkle FM.
Oh, what do you think I am, made of money? No, we're going to go to GDR and do it. I'll see that Rob Darby. Now, did you get that fangled stuff off the internet like you promised me?
Nev, come in and sit down, old boy.
Right, now, I've got a few ideas I thought up. Jason, pass me those bits of paper.
So, Nev, you thinking of putting this ad into the new breakfast show?
Oh, don't be ridiculous, son. I'd sooner put it in a show where I know people are listening, like that John Spicey or, you know, some of the country shows. They're good, yeah.
Oh, terrific. Well, why don't you just read me what you've got then?
All right, son, I will. Here we go. Nev from Nangwarry, take one. You know, I take a lot of crap from a lot of people, so why don't you become one of them? When it comes to number twos, we're number one in the business. And how about this? You dump it, we pump it. So call the plunger lunger. Call Nev from Nangwarry.
Well, Nev, I reckon that's probably one of the best ads I think I've ever heard.
Oh, do you reckon, son?
No, not really, but you don't want to put it in my show, and now I've heard it, I don't want it there either.
Oh, son, you're too picky. Give that a couple of weeks on the wireless, mate. There'll be people who are up to their knees in it, crawling over broken glass to get to me. You wait and see.
2 weeks later at the House of Nangers.
Oh, Uncle Nev, a letter came for you today. I think you better read it.
Oh, I don't seem to have me spare glasses with you, Jason. You read it out for me. What's it say?
It says, Dear Mr. Nanders.
That's not Nanders, it's Nangers. Nev Nangers.
Well, it seems since your commercial went to air, Uncle Nev, they've had over 500 complaints from the general public and a couple of very heavy government departments. They've enclosed your original cheque and an extra $100 for you to never darken their doorstep again.
They'll laugh the other side of their face next time the dunny backs up. In fact, I might sneak into town now and drop half a brick in it myself. Well, I've been right up to my neck in it, and I'm never in a flurry. I'm Nev from Nangwarry. I don't know. Yep, no, that's who I am. Yep, no.
And so those really early episodes have all noise in them, because the gadget that I'm recording this on now, right, I thought, at the time I still owned it. Well, obviously. And I started the show when I recorded the theme, and then the machine broke down. Virtually the day that we were kicking off, and I had nothing to record on. And then I had this old computer, and it made lots of background noise. And then that computer died, and then I had this old Apple Mac Pismo. Sorry, Simon. Pismo. Do what? Yeah, outside for a Pismo, quick Pismo. And so I ended up having to record on that, and the software used to crash all the time. And when it used to crash, it used to send the most deafening noise through the headphones where you'd almost get instant migraine and be hit on the floor. Said lots of stuff against me. Everything was against me. Science was against me. They were all against me, I tell you! Now, where were we? Oh, yes. So I got kicked off, and then we were up to episode 12, which hasn't happened, of Nev from Nangwarry. When I say it hasn't happened yet on the podcast. We're not up to that episode yet. So I was off for months, and there was like a town meeting, and there was like people turned up with pitchforks to get me back on. That's what makes me laugh about, like, when they said there was one letter. I made an old joke on air once, and you used to get sort of letters of complaint where when you checked out the people and their addresses, they didn't exist. But when all the letters of support and people that came to support you, they did exist. And I made this joke once on air, and it was a really old joke. I think I got it from the young ones or something. It just happened to come to me at the time. I said, there's no point writing any complaint letters because we just lose them down the back of a filing cabinet. And I'm pretty sure that was on one of the episodes of the young ones. So someone wrote, some fictitious person in handwriting that looked rather familiar to people who might have been in the station, said, how dare he go on air and say that he would lose them down the filing cabinet? And I'm thinking, it was a joke. And it wasn't even my joke. It just came to me and I just happened to spiel it out. So I got kicked off the first time, and then there was a hell of a stink. It made the local paper, and there was screaming and yelling. So, the thing is, right, generally the most successful people in anything are polarizing people. 50% of the population love you, or 50% of the population hate your fucking guts, right? But they're the most successful people, you know. And I've got people that are on here and stuff that I hate, and people really love them. And you know that you can't take away the success. And if I look at someone like a Howard Stern, that's the same story. People will crawl over broken glass for him. Other people would push him off a cliff in a heartbeat. And there are examples of that everywhere. So, as I used to say, look, if you don't like the show, don't listen to it. And it's the same thing with this podcast. Although this podcast is just for you, Simon. No one else should be. If you are not Simon and you're listening to this, this is nothing to do with you. And if you are listening to it, we will be getting back to our regular scheduled bullshit next podcast. Okay? Okay, you got that? Yes. And I've got the preacher lined up. It's currently Tuesday here. I'm going to interview him tomorrow morning. Okay? So that podcast won't be out till after the 10th of September, because as it is, Simon, I'm probably going to have to crunch this one down to either 64 or 96 Ks to try and get it in under the thingo, or I might put a better quality version on Spreaker.com and then put a better version of this up. I don't know. Anyway, here's the missing episode from when we came back after being kicked off, when I was demanded I get put back on. Thought I was fairly invincible at that point, because it took them another 6 months before they got me. But when they finally got me, they got me.
Well, I've I've been right up to my neck in it, and I'm never in a flurry. I'm Nev from Nangwarry. I don't know. Yep, no, that's who I am. Yep, no. Jason, get your head out of your cartoon book there and pass your old Uncle Nev the sugar.
Hey? Oh, sorry, Uncle Nev. Yeah, here it is. Anyway, it's not a cartoon book, Uncle Nev. It's anime.
Anime? I suppose you'll be subscribing to Dolly magazine next. What's anime do? Who's she?
She doesn't do anything, Uncle Nev. It's a form of Japanese art, you know, like manga.
Mango? No, I don't like mango. I find they're a bit like those papayas, you know. You split them open, they smell like someone's chucked up. I don't know, with your sanga and your anime. Where did you get all these big words from this week, Jason?
Well, it's quite easy. Darby's too busy. He's got no idea, so I've done my own script writing, Uncle Nev.
Well, I only hope you'll be back to your monosyllabic.
Well, he's obviously still writing for you, Uncle Nev. You can't say monosyllabic.
Just get back to who you were next week. That's all I can say, Jason.
Anyway, did you hear all those scratches at the start of the episode, Uncle Nev? I get the feeling that this is like an emergency episode that he has up his sleeve. Listen to how old it is.
Don't be telling people that, Jason. You're not supposed to give away the secrets of radio.
Our secrets of radio, my backside. Listen, Uncle Nev, if it really was an emergency episode, and I don't think it is, I wouldn't be able to say that, well, the story can't continue. People might need another week to tune in. Otherwise, we'd be heading back to the house now, and you'd meet that strange lady.
Will you shut up? You're like one of those people I read about in the paper the other day. They give away their plot spoilers. That's what you are. You're a plot spoiler, Jason.
I never let the pot spoil, Uncle Nev, but what I'm saying is he's put all the sound effects of the scratches, thank you, you can stop now, and the theme, but is it hardly worth making such a big fanfare over such small ideas? Let's face it, there's nothing going on in this episode.
Hold on though, Jason, right? Now listen to me, son. Now listen. If this wasn't an emergency episode, which I'm not saying it is, but if it wasn't, it would be episode 13. Ooh.
Oh, woo, yeah. What's so special about that? It doesn't really mean anything, Uncle Ned. You're so superstitious.
Oh, you're way out of line there, son. If there's the one thing I've never been, it's superstitious, and I never will be. Touch wood. Of course, mind you. You know those big tall buildings they have overseas and that, Jason?
Yeah.
You do. Well, you ever notice when you get into the lift sometimes, the floor goes from 12 to 14? There's always that missing 13. Now, when this goes into repeats, Jason, the 13th episode will be missing. Ooh.
Uncle Nev, I've told you 1,000 times, not all fungus is safe to eat. See you next week, folks.
Well, I've been right up to my neck in it, and I'm never in a flurry. I'm Nev from Nangwarry. I don't know. Yep, no, that's who I am. Yep, no.
I can still hear those bloody scratches in your head. Lift the stylus off, That's better. So, yeah, we're finished. This is just for you, Simon. So, that episode was thrown in there because I'd been off for a couple of months. And it's the episode between where, I think actually on the next show's episode, I think that's the next episode, because they're in Cuba, which I can't give away, and then they manage to come home, and there's a mysterious, can't tell you. But I will. And there was also a Christmas song. Do you want to hear a little bit of the Christmas song? Do you? Do you, Simon? Do you want to hear it? Yeah? You do? Well, you're not going to hear it, because you're going to wait till Christmas. Let's spoil everyone's fun. Do you want to hear a little bit of it? I'll play a teeny-weeny little bit of it, all right?
Uncle Nev?
No, so you'll be right, son. No, spirit of Christmas. No one will say anything.
Then why did we cover up Sheila's number plates, Uncle Nev?
Well, it's a tradition, son. No one pays for Christmas trees around here, especially not in the Nangers family, all right, son? Just, look, help me get it in and just shut up, will you? I'll be putting up me Christmas tree, but not the mistletoe. No, because I won't be kissing no one till Nora comes back up.
And that's all you're getting.
Oh, don't be like that, you mean old bastard.
No.
Happy memories, that does.
Yes, well, they can bring them out around Christmas time. Remember, Simon, that bag of money? Just keep sending. And so I got back on and we continued on. And as I said, you heard how it all ended. So that's why, and of course, back in those days, podcasts, there weren't podcasts. So we just sat and we twiddled our toes and fingers and other things. So next episode, as I say, promise to get back to Thingamabob. Okay? Yes, and it's a shame, as I said about James Kennedy, because we had some good stuff on air, him and I, and it's a shame. You know, sometimes you just circumstances that pull you apart. And welcome back to the memory machine. It's time machine time. This is me now.
Oh, it's like that.
And that's me then.
What's
See?
that day? What's that day in September?
Simon, that's me then.
What happens in September?
September. See, that's me then. Take it over, me.
Morning all.
Okay.
It's Rob Darby here.
Who? Oh,
For
right.
probably one of the last times.
Oh.
I'm afraid to say. What did he say? Could be, folks. If it's not the last one, it might be rather close to where they come to an end. All jokes aside today. Gads. I'm not allowed to send the weather up, okay? I've now been officially told in a letter you are not to send the weather up. So, I'll do it in a drawl fashion, shall I? Fine, cool and mild, with a partly cloudy day, with light to moderate northerly winds, freshening during the day. 15 degrees, so I'm not allowed to. So that's rule infraction number 1. So if I'm not here by the end of today, you'll know why. Although Sandra Humphries is coming in to perform live. Yes. North to northwest winds, 15 to 20 knots. Increasing 20 to 30 knots offshore. Graham Kennedy used to have a joke during the weather. But, I mean, what would Graham know? What would old Mr. Kennedy know, eh? Just trying to entertain a few people, have a bit of a laugh. Seas 1.5 to 2 metres, rising near 2.5 metres during the afternoon. Swell around 2 metres. Anyway, that's enough of that. Dean, something happy for a change. Here you go, boy. Groundskeeper Darryl. He's your best mate to have in a storm. Enjoyed catching up with you on Friday, Darryl. Where you been? Where you been? Hey. Right, Darby, get out of there. Come on, get out. G'day, it's Nev here. Now, there's some folks around this place don't like it when you send up the weather. So here I go. Monday, cool with a shower or two, light to moderate southwest or northwest winds. Had a great time on the weekend. Went to Dean's birthday party, everybody. He eventually gave me some of his Southwark to drink, and I was as sick as a dog all over his pool table. 14 degrees. It's his actual birthday today, though, folks. Happy birthday, Dean, you old bugger. Round the southeast coast, southwest winds 10 to 15 knots, turning west to northwest 18 to 13 knots during the afternoon.
Can I have a go, Uncle Nev? Come on, I've always wanted to do this.
Yeah, all right. As long as you read it properly, you don't make jokes over the weather, because there's types around here think Darby just pushes it a little bit too much, and I think it's time we curbed him in a bit.
Oh, can I have a go then?
Off you go, son.
Seas round 1 metre, swell 2 to 3 metres. Narracourt 15 with a shower or 2, Uncle Nev. Murray Bridge 16 and mainly fine. Keith, a possible shower. 15 for Coonawarra and a shower or 2. Adelaide, shower or 2 clearing later. And in Nangwarry today, ladies and gentlemen, it'll be about 17 degrees.
Thanks, Jace. It is Dean's birthday. Happy birthday, dude. Hang on, I better play his thing here. Oh, me other players in the way. Hang on. This is for you, Dean. Where is it? Here it is. Whoa. Here it is, Dean.
Happy birthday!
And again.
Happy birthday!
Ah, good on you, Dean. This is for Dean, everybody. Happy birthday, Dean. Ah, there he was, Roy. You hardly hear any Roy around the place. And what happened on Saturday, Nev?
Oh, well, about 9 o'clock, we were all talking there and having a drink. Hang on, Roy's on again. And Dean rings up and he won the pizza again on Saturday night. He won it again and again.
Now, I believe you took some video of the thing, didn't you?
Yeah, I did, but I was a bit busy over the weekend. I didn't have a chance to go through the tapes.
I'll bet you didn't. And, ladies and gentlemen, yes, let me see. Well, this is an unplanned... Well, sort of, I figure, just in case I'm not here at 9 o'clock, or 5 to 8, I'm going to give you a sneak preview of Nev. Here it is. Take it away, Nev. It'll be back on at 5 to 8.
Well, I've been right up to my neck in it, and I'm never in a flurry. I'm Nev from Nangwarry. I don't know. Yep, no, that's who I am. Yep, no. All right, Jason, come on, show me the sign you made. Freeth? What's freeth? That isn't even a word, Jason. What's freeth mean? Hey, take the tape off your mouth, boy. Come here. Here.
Ow! Uncle Nev! You give me a Brazilian of the lip!
Well, what does freeth mean?
It doesn't say Freeth, Uncle Nev. It says Free the Breakfast Show. Only me little E's been knocked over.
Yeah, you'll get the big E from me in a minute, son. I don't think that'll do you too good.
The sign also says honk if you support us.
Well, hold it up in the air proudly, son. Thank you.
You know, Uncle Nev, I always feel like Big Brother seems to be watching us. So I'm going to try to be more like that Merlin.
Merlin? I think I'd skip it, son. No one thinks of you as being a wizard.
Oh, gee, Uncle Nev, but can I still hold me sign up?
You sure can, son. Hold it up there. Thank you.
Yeah, but Nev, I don't understand. Why do we have to be all chained together out here? It's raining and it's very cold. Besides, I didn't want to be chained to you people. I was trying to talk you people out of it. You schnitzel crazy. You need the noggin. And Darby put a chain around my ankle and now I can't go home. Yeah, Uncle Nev, why isn't Darby chained up here with us?
Well, yeah, he's in the dry, I must admit. No, well, he explained it to me like this, Jason. He said it's better if he can stay active and keep in touch with people, you know what I'm saying? What he said was, we provide the symbolism. You understand what he means?
I think so, Uncle Nev. I've been a symbol for someone for quite some time.
Yeah, and the other thing is too, Jason, you know, I've never had much time for these long-haired protesting hippies trying to change the world and do this and, oh, give me a break. But, son, in my line of work, I know what it's like to have people turn their nose up at you.
Phew, yeah, speaking of which, Uncle Nev, you might have had a shower before we were chained next to each other.
Oh, be quiet and hold the sign up, son. Thank you.
Neville, I understand you are getting yourself all carried away by the electricity of the moment. But you must listen. There's a very good quote. George Orwell said it best. He said, all animals is created equal, but some is more equal than others. And this is written in stone. We do not question it.
You get stranger every day, Doc. Jason, hold the sign up. Thank you. Well, I've been right up to my neck in it, and I'm never in a flurry. I'm Nev from Nangwarry. I don't know. Yep, no, that's who I am. Yep, no.
13 past 7. Good morning, all. Now, it's time. It is time to play this. Oh, we can't miss out on this. This is too good.
Wake up in the morning, you're feeling fine.
No matter how repetitive it is.
Time to wake up and hear the monkey. Wake up in the morning, you're feeling funky. Time to wake up and hear the monkey.
Would you like to touch my monkey? Would you like to touch my monkey?
He was a little slow on the uptake this morning, my little... I think isn't that That's Dr. Evil, isn't it, who says that? Like, oh. I am Dr. Evil. When you hear that little monkey there, this one... You call me on 872-3255 if you hear the monkey and let me know. And you have a breakfast CD this morning. And, yes, a breakfast CD with 7 episodes of Nev, the Get Up and Get Out of Bed song that you just heard, plus 5 other tunes, plus if you put it in a computer, 23 other tunes and 5 video clips. That's all, folks. Your responsibilities seem to outweigh the rewards that they bring. I bought a stainless steel thermos. You know how I broke my plastic one that had the glass insert the other day and I was crying, and then I had to drink instant coffee made with just water because there's no milk in the place, right? I went to Mitre 10 on Friday, right? I didn't tell you guys. I knew this. Mitre 10 had these ones. They were like nearly $50. They're stainless steel. Came with 2 presentation insulated thermal cups, right? And another cup that screws on the top. They were about $45, right? Put them down to $26. And I sort of thought it was a good omen that I was buying a nice, sturdy stainless steel one because, with the topsy-turvy world of public radio, it might come in handy. Because you can throw it at people and, even if it hits them, it won't hurt the thermos. That's a really good thing. Where was I up to? Leo, yeah, those of you who serve you deserve better than what you're about to give them. You read this, responsibilities, yeah. Virgo, this is me. Anticipate problems before they happen and act quickly. A full thermos really comes in handy. And when they finally begin to materialise... Oh, the sale's over, by the way, at Mitre 10. It only went till Sunday. But I didn't want to tell you on Friday morning because you might have all snuck down and got them before I did. There are all kinds of forks in the road today, Virgo. and some of them could get you into trouble.
Safety initiative from the Government of South Australia and Motor Accident Commission.
5GTR FM, Southeast weather.
I suppose that background music would count as sending up the weather, I suppose. Hey, we mustn't send up the weather, so I'm going to get my friends the aliens to read it for us. I figure that they know how to be more serious, do we? Yes, we do. Fine, cool and mild with a partly cloudy day. Light to moderate northerly winds. Maximum of 15 degrees. For the southeast coast, north-northwest winds 15 to 20 knots, increasing 20 to 30 knots offshore. Seas 1.5 to 2 meters. Seas rising 2.5 meters. In the afternoon, swell around 2 meters. Anyway, we are not allowed to send up the weather. I keep getting told what's professional. I've only worked in entertainment for about 25 years. Bugger me if I know. Anyway, these are the things that happen. Oh, sorry, we were having a conversation off air there.
We were.
I'll just turn you up.
Okay.
Bit more.
Turn me up.
Bit more.
Turn me up.
Bit more.
How's that going?
Yeah, that's good. Now, what I have to do when you actually start playing is I have to turn you back down.
Yes, you will.
Because Teresa rang in and said, I couldn't hear Sandra. Good morning, Sandra Humphreys. I better read the weather because I'm not allowed to send the weather up anymore, Sandra. So
Please don't.
Don't make any jokes while I'm reading this.
No, definitely not. It's very serious stuff.
It is very serious, isn't it? You're right. What sort of voice should I do it in? A serious one?
Very serious.
It's like a Dr. Kildare giving bad news to the family. Their favourite breakfast show is about to be shot through the head.
Yes.
Should I play some sort of organ music in the background? Sort of Veterinarians Hospital. You know the one?
Perhaps not.
You sure? No? You don't think so? Maybe some techno.
You try that.
Techno? You want tech? You sure?
No.
No, you're not sure. Hey, I tell you what, why don't you strum some background music on your guitar for me?
Okay. Just trying to think of something.
Anything will do, just a G chord.
G chord.
Yeah. Fine and cool to mild with a partly cloudy day. Light to moderate winds. Northerly direction. I'm sorry he didn't make it. Freshening during the day. 15 degrees. Play something like a stab there. Yes, that's it. 15. Southeast coast. You got something that sounds watery? Splashes in the bath. North to northwest winds 15 to 20 knots, increasing 20 to 30 knots offshore. Seas 1.5 to 2 metres, rising to 2.5 metres during the afternoon with a swell. Sandra, there's a swell here for 2 metres. That's it, that's a swell. All right. Now it's time for me to talk to you, Sandra. Now, I've got this album here, right? Hang on, I've lost it. What have I done with it? Sandra, I'm in a tiz. I'm in a tiz, darling.
Aren't you, love?
I know. It's
terrible.
I know, I get myself all worked up. Sandra, every road. Now, it says Tamworth's WW dot in it, all right? Hey, it worked for Stephen Mayne. He started up a website called Crikey, which is like a newspaper, and believe me, when Crikey talks, people listen. But, it might not come to that. Maybe some of you guys will put pen to paper and make your protest known. If you don't like the show, well, fair enough. You don't have to like it. If you don't like what I do, come on and do your own show, okay? That's what public radio is all about. Well, it should be, anyway. We should have lots of community organisations coming here to do shows. That's what happens on public radio in other places. I'm just taking off the top of my head, like Lifeline and Women's Work Depot and, there's thousands of community information centre. There's groups, there's support groups. You guys should all come and approach this place and say, damn it, we want to do a show, like a half-hour information show. Because when you have a public licence, right, you're supposed to do that sort of stuff for the community? Or is that just me who thinks that? No, hang on, that's written down somewhere in public radio. I'm sure it is. Yeah, no, I've read it somewhere. I know.
Well, I've been right up to my neck in it, and I'm never in a flurry. I'm there from Nangwarry. I don't know. Yep, no, that's who I am. Yep, no.
Can I have your autograph, Mr. Nangers?
No, sorry, son. I'm between negotiations at the moment. Puddle off back to your mum. Go on, off you go.
Oh, Uncle Nev, that's a bit cruel. You're loved by millions now. People are even naming their pets after you, Uncle Nev. You've got a responsibility to your public.
Yeah. Porter, Is our luxury suite ready? Oh, monsieur, let me lead you there. It's booked under the name of Derby, right? I'm not paying for this, am I? Ah, sir, I promise you it has every luxury you could ever dream of. Now, Jason, have you let everyone know this is where we're meeting?
Oh, yes, Uncle Nev. I told them all to come.
And the champagne's been on ice, has it?
Oh, yes, sir. It has been chilled beautifully for you.
Right, well, I might have something else to go with it on Derby's tab, if you don't mind. I'll have one of those brandy Alexanders. What are you going to have, Jason?
Oh, I'd like one of those cowboy drinks, you know, a cowboy,
What do you mean, You sound like a cow. We're all adults here. Come out and say what you really want, boy.
Oh, I couldn't, Uncle Nev.
Yeah, well, if it's good enough for a government minister, it's good enough for you to say too, young boy. You've got to stand up for yourself.
Yeah, never. I'm not too late, am I?
No, Doc, you just made it. We're just ordering drinkies.
Yeah, and Derby is paying for this one, yeah? Oh, yeah, Doc, it's about time he coughed up something for us fellas. What do you reckon? I will have ein Weinspritzer und, make a Schnaps for Cheshire, yeah.
All right, everyone's sitting comfortably, are they? I think quite a few of us are here. Anyway, there's a few spare chairs there, and if we get too busy, we can always spill over on the couch. Right, has anyone got anything to say?
Yeah, I have, Uncle Nev. I've never liked Derby. He doesn't play enough top 40 and techno for my liking, no.
What you raving on about there? He doesn't play enough country, that's the problem.
Nein, nicht. Und there's no Wagner on there. I never hear nothing.
Well, fellas, I hate to have to say this, but I think we might have to make our own plans. He's up for negotiations soon. He might get the bullet. I think I might have my own show on there, like Nev's Country Corral. That'd be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and I could have one talkback calls where people come here and diagnose them, and we could have some music from the black voice. You guys think small. I've made my demo tape to be on Twinkle FM.
Yeah, and Derby helped you record it. How could you do that to him?
Yeah, well, Uncle Nev, I've been told by my new agent, you got to tread on a few fingers to get somewhere in life.
I admire your fighting spirit there, me young nephew, but I'll tell you something. I think your light's a little dim to be shining on Twinkle, just quietly.
Oh, ha, my uncle know-it-all. And what are you going to do that's so good?
Well, as it happens, I do have an agent. He's very exclusive. He books me and John Spicer. I've been doing some after-dinner speaking engagements too, about me life and me work.
Yeah, well, Uncle Nev, when it comes to your work, you'd have to tell them after dinner, because if you told them during, they'd all be sick.
Yeah, well, that's very dry, young Jason. I don't like what you've become. No, look, I'm in two minds about Derby getting the bullet. If he goes, me new song, Love Song for Nora, won't get played. And the other thing is, this show will end and then everyone will think I murdered her.
Well, Uncle Nev, to be honest, when I see you do your chewy, I think you murdered her too.
Shut your face.
Boys, next on the fighting. No more fighting. Neville, come on, lay on the couch and answer some questions.
He makes me so cross.
Relax, Neville. Neville, did you despise your mother?
What?
Did you ever smash your toys into little pieces, huh?
Don't you start as well. Come on, there's a serious problem here.
Hello, we're not too late, are we? Are you still discussing Derby? No, I don't like him, you know. I was in episode 5, The Love Nest. You know, the check's still not with my agent, and I've stayed a little bit longer. I've listened to his show. Flatulence during breakfast and everything. It's disgusting. No, get rid of him, I say. Yeah, send him off to Radio Oblivion.
All right, now listen. He'll be here any second. Now, we don't want him to think we've started a meeting early. Just kind of sit around and pretend like we're waiting for him, all right?
Gentlemen, how are we all?
Oh, hi, Rob. How you going? Thanks for me demo tape, mate. Yeah, we're right with you.
Yeah, son. So, how's it going? How you doing there, son? What's the verdict?
Hey, Derby, Sylvia has promised you one of her finest strudels next weekend.
Strudel. So you would stew me in the strudel, would you?
What you going on about there, son?
Oh, after the meeting, Mr. Derby, can I have your autograph?
You fools. I imagined you all, and I can unimagine you just as easily.
Oh, steady on, son. You mean like some sort of voodoo thing? If you stop thinking about us, we'll cease to exist.
Ik mij always naar dat ik aan hier on in my friend, maar hier off and here ben maar dan ik ken hem but on the below.
Oh, downright scare. I'm giving you all a chance to hear him, okay? Because, you know. They used to say, smack a doggy on the nose and give him a biscuit, because it totally confuses him. But the RSPCA does not recommend that, and neither do I. Oh, dear. Look, thank you for so many calls. Ethel just rang. I'll be your friend. I'll be your friend, I will. I'll be your friend. I said, good on you, Ethel. Do you remember Take It From Here with Ron and Ethel Glum? Do you remember them, the Glums? Oh, yes, Eth. Remember them? Oh, Ron! Remember how fantastic they were? They were original too. That's why they lasted a long time on radio. Even the BBC couldn't kill it off. And that is saying something, is it not? Speaking of things that were popular, Remember when we did the UFO program? Do you remember that? Me and Seamus and me. We got so many calls that morning and from all sorts of different people. Well, under the new regime, that will be banned. Okay? Seamus and I went off to the Vansittart Deli for the morning broadcast and we bantered all morning. Well, technically, that would be banned. Seamus is a member. I'm a member. You know? Everybody, on those mornings when Seamus has been here, the Graham Kennedy special. Same thing again. People rang up and said, oh, man, that was funny. Seamus is a brilliant, brilliant second person. He really is. I've listened back to the tapes and stuff of the show. The guy really has it together. And I think you guys out there know that, don't you? You do. Well, you know, bring the guy in for breakfast and all hell breaks loose. But the listeners like it. You see, I mean, do you get it? Do you get it? If you do get it and you don't want to put up with it anymore, then stand up and sing along with this, because this is cool. Bloody funny. Oh, we're going to miss it. But look, you know, we might be on the web soon. Robert Darby, iuma.com. Robert Darby, iuma, which is spelled iuma.com. Just in case the lunatics completely take over the asylum, we still have a reserve plan. But let's try and save GTR first, shall we? There's about 22 members turned up to the last meeting. That ain't good. That ain't good. This place should have about 300 to 400 members. You know that? It should. With the town size that it is, it really should. Still, never mind. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be here tomorrow. I'm going to tell management today that as far as I'm concerned, I do not accept their terms. I do not want to leave, but I just do not accept their terms. Because basically, to all the people who don't like the flatulence in the morning, their terms are this. Like that. That's what I think they are. I've got to tell you, this will be the last Nev I'll play, maybe forever, here. Maybe not. Maybe I'll be back tomorrow. If you come in and complain today, I'll be back tomorrow. You'll all be tuned in 6:30 thinking, is he there? Is he there? I want to be here. I really want to be here. But I've got to do the show that I've got to do. And you know, I do it for you guys. The listeners have far more chance of getting me to do something than the Board of Management because you're the listeners, you know? And not those sneaky little ones who ring up. Not someone's relative. Give me a break here. This was part 3 of that series of Nev when they got dumped off in Havana, and I couldn't resist it. I know the story was a little bit old. Remember when Susie Moroney swam from Cuba to Florida? Remember?
Sorry. We're sort of discussing the background of Weatherbed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. Now, look, I've got to say here that I'm here, well, not as the Smith volunteer presenter, basically, but as Graham Smith, Deputy Chairman and, I guess, spokesman said here at 5GTR FM. During this morning's breakfast show, there were repeated comments from Robert Darby that his future as a breakfast announcer with us was in doubt, and he called for letters of support, etc. When Robert began the program almost 3 months ago, he and the Board of Management agreed verbally that we'd review his tenure after 3 months. Robert also asked that if we had any issues to please confront him with them. And I'd like to inform listeners, particularly as supporters, that Robert has been handed a letter, which I've actually not seen at this point, but which I believe was read in part or on whole on air this morning, and it confirmed his ongoing appointment for a further 3 months. This was a majority decision of an ordinary Board of Management meeting last week. His reappointment was to be subject to certain conditions, and as you may have understood, related to the presentation on the news of the news service as well as certain internal matters. As far as Robert's appeal for letter of support goes, well, look, we welcome feedback of all kinds regarding all presenters, and well, yeah, I guess support his appeal is the best thing I can say. Maybe not just for Robert, but for everyone. At the time of his presentation, Robert had been advised that he was still required as a breakfast announcer. His presentation this morning will, I guess, need to be analysed and discussed at board level, and we trust issues can be resolved satisfactorily. At this stage, I do have his keys to the premises, but we hope that within the next 24 hours that things can be, as I mentioned, resolved satisfactorily. So, yeah, keep those cards and letters coming is what it really boils down to.
Pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah. So, as far as we're concerned, well, even then the 3 months isn't up yet. Basically falls due at the end of next week. So, Robert officially is, I guess, still our breakfast presenter, and the opportunity is there to continue on another 3 months. We just have to get our heads together. The end.
The end.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Smith.
Okay.
You've obviously thought deeply about that one.
Oh, it's been, been a bit of a challenge, and this is not a prepared statement now. Look, I appreciate Rob isn't everyone's cup of tea, but he has got supporters. There's some against, some for, and I'm not talking within the station. I'm talking out there as well. I mean, at one stage I got the point I thought I'd conduct my own, although it was only a mini survey, and hey, there was acceptance out there, so I thought, yeah, right, let's go with it. So, yeah, we just hope we can get it all worked out. I better not say too much more because I'm supposed to be spokesman said, and I can't let the personal stuff come in.
No, that's right. No, you better stop there, Smith. Otherwise, you'll get yourself into all sorts of trouble.
So, that's really where it boils down to anyway. The fact is, as far as we as a board are concerned, Rob is still our breakfast announcer.
And at that point, Simon, you're there, Simon. Graham, who was there, unfortunately died a few years after that. He contracted some sort of horrible cancer and passed away. I felt a little bad for Graham because he was sort of the meat between the sandwich. But what can you do? And the person I referred to as Seamus was James Kennedy. He's a little bit of James.
So we never see it, so there could be something up there. There's a lot of talk about an alien base on the moon. More and more people are coming forward with stories of alien presence on the moon. Rumours say that there's an alien moon base on the far side of the moon that we never see from Earth, as you said.
They say, do you ever wonder why the moon landing stopped? I can't remember what website this is from, but it's from one of them. You can find all this stuff on the web.
On the net.
You can be deluged with this sort of stuff.
Indeed. Author unknown, incidentally.
Yes, of course. This is what makes it so great. It's always a second-hand account from something. Now, did you ever wonder why the moon landing stopped and why we've never tried to build a moon base? Did we go there?
Did we go there in the first place? That's a good question, yeah.
What do you think?
Oh, I don't know. I think a couple of the missions made it, but a bit dodgy, the early ones.
See, because that movie Capricorn 1 was a faked landing to Mars, and the thing that was supposed to be like in code to let people know that that's what actually happened with the moon. Because people say if you go through the Van Allen belt, you're done for. You're fried.
Yeah, that's it. You're gone forever.
You've got too much radiation, and nothing can stop that.
I'd like to think we did make it to the moon. I mean, it was a fantastic time.
I would too, because you know how you can't get time back.
Yeah.
When I was a very, very, very small boy, I was born in 1964, and the first moon landing was 1969.
Yep.
I still remember my mother. We're playing out in the street, having a good time, and my mother said, "Oh, come in and watch the television. They've landed on the moon." Now, they will never give me that time back again, but I could have been playing with my friends.
That's it, isn't it?
Because I was sucked in. I've always believed that we went there.
I know, and I'd be very disappointed to learn that it didn't happen.
I'd be very disappointed too, but according to this somewhere down here, Soviet scientists allegedly were the first to confirm the incident of that apparently there was these beasties, on the other side of on the moon. And according to Dr. Vladimir Ashlashazava, physicist of the professor of Moscow University, Neil Armstrong, see, another second-hand account, right?
Of course.
Relayed the message to Mission Control that two large mysterious objects were watching them after they landed near the moon module. But his message was never heard by the public because NASA censored it.
Yeah, but how do we ever prove that?
You know what NASA stands for, don't you?
Need another space...
Need another 7 astronauts.
No,
it stands for National American something or another.
Okay.
No, hang on, it stands for National America Censorship Association, but they've spelled it wrong.
They've spelled it wrong.
Yeah. According to another Soviet scientist, Dr. Alexander Kondratievich, Buzz Aldrin took colour movie of the UFO from inside the module and continued to film them after he and Armstrong went outside. They claim, Dr. from the Russian thing, claimed the UFOs departed minutes after the astronauts came out onto the lunar surface.
There's always been talk about the astronauts going up to the moon and seeing objects outside of the lunar module and so forth.
Yes, that's downright scary. Now we got to talk about we have to talk about Roswell because I mean you can't miss out on Roswell.
The granddaddy of them all.
The granddaddy. Here it is. Here's the original news thing, and then we'll come back and we will. Here it is.
You want to keep your audience.
Planetary crafts.
We'll lose them if I start singing rock.
We're calling occupants of interplanetary most extra... Oh, sorry, the music stopped. I guess I better too. They don't always like it, you know.
They don't?
I might sing the weather to them sometimes. They might get upset. Or talk over the news.
You wouldn't do that, would you?
No, never, because that would be unprofessional. Now, look, speaking of the... Oh, by the way, congratulations to Daryl Muller. He rang up and he has now got the Roswell T-shirt. He said, "Where you been?" He always does that, though. And we were deluged by calls. It did not stop. I didn't answer the rest of them because I don't want to take your money off you. You're not going to win the T-shirt. That's a good point. But don't go nowhere because we've got another T-shirt to give away soon. We're going to give away the Whittlesea UFO
It's a one-off, that one,
That
too.
is a one-off.
Yeah.
It was made right here, and you cannot get it anywhere else, and we've got no regard for copyright whatsoever. Oh, who are they? Are those strange people over there friends of yours, Seamus?
The grey people?
Yes, the grey people. Are the grey people harmful to us or not?
Apparently so.
The greys don't like us.
No, apparently the greys do the dirty work.
Right. And are they under the control of a different set of aliens, aren't they?
Apparently, yes. But I'd like to see them as their own entity.
The greys?
The greys, yes. I don't like this hierarchy of aliens business.
Right.
Yeah.
You think they should all be... You're a bit of a communist when it comes to the universe. You think everyone should wear the same Mao caps and the bland sort of uniform. Is that what you think?
No, you can have individuality, so... But I think...
Just as long as you don't want to be different.
That's right.
You can have individuality as long as you agree with us.
That's it.
Yeah, go on, yeah.
I want to be the same as you guys, but different. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, go on.
Yeah, the greys.
Yes. Phil rang in, and he's won the Whittlesea UFO. You see one eye go up into my head? It's shocking, it was. I can't think and talk and do anything, basically. Anyway, Phil won that, and he's won our Whittlesea UFO T-shirt for the morning.
Phil.
And Phil related a little story to you, did Phil?
Yes.
Phil did.
Apparently Phil and his wife, and around about... Phil did.
Did Phil?
Phil did.
Yes.
Phil in. 2002, they were sitting in front of their house, and a big white light appeared in front of them. It started off very small and just become a huge white light. It went off over in the Port Mac direction, leaving a vapour trail, and then it just extinguished itself like a light.
Wow.
Yes.
This is from someone in town.
This is from someone in town.
We've had wonderful response on the phone
It's
today.
been good.
I think there's a lot of people out there.
Strikes a chord.
Strikes a chord.
A lot of people who do see UFOs are reluctant to report them
because everyone thinks you're nuts.
Fear of ridicule. I mean, a lot of truck drivers, fishermen, taxi drivers,
astronauts.
Morning DJs.
Morning DJs. No, but it's okay for us to have a laugh because we're sitting here in a comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
But if a little grey walked through that door now,
yes,
only our laundry man would know how scared we really were.
That would be it.
But good on you, Phil, for ringing in and sharing.
Yes, thank you, Phil.
And I hope you enjoy that T-shirt because I know I enjoyed very much making it.
Lucky Phil.
This is Lucky Phil. Oh, don't you miss Hey Hey
I
Saturday?
miss Hey Hey like you would
We
believe,
could go
Rob.
on like that, couldn't we? But we better not. It's 15:15. I don't think so, Master. So, of course, he didn't go home.
No, and if you're aboard an alien spacecraft, you'd be wondering if you were ever going to see home again, I guess.
You would.
Because abduction is a part of the phenomena.
Yes.
Allegedly.
We didn't really talk about Freddie Valentich either.
No.
And that's got to be a very famous one because Freddie Valentich flew, was it a Cessna?
Yep.
It was a Cessna across Bass Strait. What's a three-legged race across Bass Strait, Seamus?
Oh, tell me, what is a three-legged race
across Bass Strait?
Yeah.
Tasmania. No, anyway, he was travelling across to Bass Strait. Okay, good morning to the Tasmanians listening. We've got fans who are Tasmanians.
Well, that's good. I thought
Rebecca Jackway's mum lives in Tasmania and she's a big Nev from Nangwarry fan.
Oh, good. I thought the double-headed coin was going to get it doesn't matter.
I'll tell you what, when we come back after the news, we'll talk about Betty and Barney Hill.
Okay.
Because that's what we were going to talk about. Let's go Frederick Valentich.
Okay, 21st of October, 1978, routine flight. Basically, get a few hours up. Frederick Valentich, a Melbourne pilot, took off from Moorabbin. He flew to Point Cook, wasn't it? Something like that.
Point Cook at the Purslane.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And as he took off towards King Island, he talked to Melbourne International Airport, which is now Tullamarine.
Yep.
And he's talked to this fellow, Mr.
That's where
Roby.
Nev was arrested.
That's where Nev was arrested.
Anyway, he talked to Tullamarine.
Yeah.
Go on.
And basically, he just asked if there was any other aircraft in the area, to which he was told that there wasn't.
Yep.
And nothing that was known. And he said there was 4 bright lights around him. This object kept circling him, and all of a sudden there was no contact with Melbourne again, and nothing was ever heard about Frederick.
They never found any wreckage, did they?
Never found any oil slick.
He completely vanished.
Yes, I've met his father and mother. They continued to go. His father's passed away, but they continued to go to Victorian UFO Research Society meetings in Melbourne there.
Yep.
They just wanted an answer. Where did their son go? And, they were pretty convinced that something of an alien nature.
And of course, the thing is too, you do get harassed in the press, and they did come under some very unfair criticism, and then later, because like when you disappear, people are reluctant to declare you as dead.
Yep.
And of course, now that they had all the financial hassle of of what happened, and there was like a bank account. It had like about $4,000 in it or something.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
And his dad tried to access it to help pay for some stuff.
Yeah.
And the press got onto it and said, Frederick Valentik's dad milking son's account, and did he? And of course, the account had about $4,000 in it, and it was hardly.
Wouldn't be worth bumping him off for that much money.
No, it wouldn't be worth. Now, quickly, we've got to play the Van Stutt Deli competition.
It was accidentally swallowed by a small dog.
It could well be.
What? Am I the only sane one here?
Yeah,
Why don't we?
Yes, I think you are. I think he is the only sane. Now, we've got a report here that we think you think is a hoax.
2001. 2001. I had to remind you of 2001.
Yes.
Space Odyssey. Okay. Yeah, I think so. This lady has claimed that she saw an orange-coloured ball moving slowly in an easterly direction, and it seemed to be on fire. There's been so many reports of this a couple of years ago. What people were doing as a prank, they were getting garbage bags, and they were setting a little fire in them so that they'd get hot air. They'd rise and they'd put a little, those things that fishermen use to illuminate snow snap things. They'd put them in there, and people would see these orange glowing things floating across the sky. Warrnambool had a heap of them a few years ago. I'd say exactly the same thing's been seen by this lady. So it just goes to show not everything you see.
It says here, this is a local one though.
Yeah, this is a local one.
From our veranda where you look directly over the city, they saw an orange-coloured ball moving in an easterly direction on fire. Mm-hmm. Watched it for 5 or 6 minutes and then disappeared over the city, slowly moving east. Being late-night shopping, my wife, so this is a man. You thought it was a woman.
I did too. Sorry, my son. Yeah, sorry about that.
Well, Mr. John, it says here.
My son John, I thought it was. Okay, cool.
Oh, well, they could have.
Whatever.
Anyway, got in, being late night shopping, my wife and I got in to go to the car to Woolworths. Mm-hmm. As soon as we returned to the street, we saw the big orange ball coming from the north-westerly direction, and it seemed to be on fire. So you think, kids were...
Yeah, there was a lot of people jacked off because there was a lot of these things landing on people's roofs. And
setting fire to them, yes.
Quite a hazard.
UFO research is all very good, but you don't want to have your house burned down.
No.
Now, two of the most famous abductees of all, Betty and Barney Hill. Hit it, sunshine.
19th of September, 61, 41-year-old child welfare worker Betty Hill and her 39-year-old husband Barney were travelling home after a pleasant vacation in southern Canada. Basically what happened, they were going along the road there and they observed something. They got out of the car, they felt the sudden urge to jump out of the car, they got the binoculars on it, and Barney wouldn't return to the car after Betty was trying to plead him to return. He went deeper into the woods and he stared at this white light in the sky. These white lights keep coming back, and it became apparent to Barney that the strange light was a UFO. Later on, they were back driving along. They had no recollection of what had happened to them. Missing time.
Yes.
And under hypnosis, basically, they discovered that they had possibly been aboard a UFO.
Right. Well, hang on. Now, that happened in 63.
63, I've got 60.
Well, according to this thing here, anyway, someone did it and put them under hypnosis. So, and they were the subject of that movie, and I can't remember what the movie. It was called the Betty and Barney Hill story.
Yeah, incident or something like that.
Yes, I thought it was the Benny Hill story.
That would have been good.
Now, unfortunately, Benny Hill never got abducted by aliens
that we know of.
Not that we know of. Now. And of course, it was well known at the time that Betty and Barney Hill were a mixed race couple.
They were, yes.
But Betty was white,
yes,
and Barney was black.
That's right.
Or well, you're not really white or black, are you? Really, because it's pink or sort of brown colour.
Yes, it's a pigment.
You get what we mean.
Yes, that's right.
So we tried to find some appropriate music, and the closest thing we could come up with was Black Betty by who is it?
Spiderbait.
Spiderbait. Even though Betty was actually pink,
yes,
and Barney was brown,
yes.
But we didn't have a song called Brown Betty, so and I think we might just get out of this before.
I think that's a really good idea.
Should we even be talking about this? I don't know.
A lot of people who claim to have been abducted do have side effects along those lines, and the triangular marks. I've seen a triangular mark on a person's body.
You?
Yes, it's most interesting.
Kelly would soon begin to remember details of the fearful nights, even without Ada's hypnosis or counselling. She recalled the object had been slightly different in the place she first remembered. It was a hovering gully, and the UFO was big. She estimated about 150 feet in diameter. Which is funny because the craft to me seem very small.
Yeah,
which
30
is why,
feet. 30 feet's about the norm.
Yeah, which is why they think there's a base on the other side of the moon. They are, it's like you've got your big truck for travelling long distances, and then you whip out your little 3-cylinder thing to pop on down and buzz Earthlings.
Well, you see people in camper vans with a little motorcycle on the back. It's a similar
I've
concept.
seen lots of people in camper vans, don't worry. Nev from Nangwarry has to deal with them a lot.
Oh, okay.
They're always complaining about stuff. Pom's on tour. I'm a Pom, it's all right, so I'm allowed to say it. She could also recall the fact that when they first spotted the object, her husband stopped the car and both her husband got outside the vehicle and walked to the direction of the massive craft without fear. It's as if they were being subconsciously drawn to the enigmatic and otherworldly creation. That's what happened to Nev.
That's what happened to Nev.
They were sitting in the car thumping the dashboard and suddenly he said, "What did you say to Jason?"
"Oh, Jason, we're out of the truck. We're floating."
Oh, yeah, Uncle Nev.
He said,
"I'm a bit scared."
And Jason said,
"Yeah, me too, Uncle Nev. Glad I wore me brown pants."
You remember, don't you?
I do.
Oh, so they were being watched by the eye in the sky.
The eye in the sky.
The all-seeing eye. Aye, man. He's man reggae with the eye in the sky. It's 9 minutes to 9. If you're not under the bed, get out of bed, please. In a game of intergalactic billiards. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Seamus, it's been something.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me in there, Rob.
Oh, that's all right. You're going to pop back in on Friday for something different.
Yeah.
But we'll reveal that on Friday.
Okay.
And it's 2.5 minutes to 9. Thank you to all our contributors this morning, including people who've had contact with the people up there.
Fantastic. Great to hear.
Not the little people. Well, some of them are little. So, as in the words of Martin Prince from The Simpsons, thank you and keep looking at the skies.
Or in the words of Graham Kennedy, thank you and blank you.
That had nothing to do with space, though.
No, I know, but I like the reference all the same.
Oh, I better play this break, and we'll say goodbye, and Adam will be up next, and everything will be hunky-dory and all that stuff.
You'll get that.
FM 105.7.
We'll speak to you tomorrow from 6:30 a.m. Adam's up next. Bye!
Goodbye. Yes, so that was a little bit of him. There were other funnier bits, but I can't find them, Simon. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Of course, I don't believe a word of all that UFO nonsense, but these are the things you do when you're filling 5 mornings a week. And it was a very fun show. And I'm really sorry that James and I never parted as friends, and then he ended it when I was gone, and we never got a chance to make things right. But that's life, I guess. And maybe if he was here now, we might have a chance to say, "I'm sorry, I'm so sorry." But he isn't. And I don't believe that he's looking down from anywhere, because I don't believe that. Otherwise it wouldn't be the dumbed-down atheist. This has been a very self-indulgent one. Just for Simon, for no one else. If you've already given up listening, too bad, gone. Next time, Bob Gray will be here for episode Och de Mum. Bye.
Service, which is going to take...
terminate this broadcast.
Okay, yeah, I thought you would.
The board will release a public statement within the next 1 hour. Thank you very much.
Dissident Radio! I fill in rest of jingle later. Welcome, my oppressed brothers and sisters, to this broadcast unit. I am Boris Badly Done By. You may have heard of me. Well, you're listening to Dissident Radio. The time? Well, the time is to rise up. That's what time it is. But lucky this week on Dissident Radio, for all the oppressed ones out there, we bring you new series. This series become available after other station kick bloke out, huh? It's called The Neville from the Nangvaries. Listen. Sing with me, comrade. Well, I've been right up to my neck in it, 'cause I speak right out for the proletariat. I'm Neville from Nangvary in the Gulag. Oh, wait, no, that's who I am. I don't remember it going like that. What's going on, Jason?
Oh, Uncle Nev, we're on Dissident Radio now.
What, distant radio? You mean it's coming from a long way away?
Oh, no, Uncle Nev, it'd be set up right here in the Mount, but it goes a long way, especially when it's broadcast on the internet. Well, in fact, if this whole thing with the news and Twinkle FM and all that breakfast show stuff doesn't get resolved, you might want to check the local paper for an ad or two over the next month. You never know, you might have an address to go to.
What, and then they can listen on their computers at home?
Yes, Uncle Nev, and we could also present little sound features, just like this one you're hearing now. Or we could create a blog.
Oh, sorry, I'll just get a cloth and clean that up.
No, Uncle Nev, I think you're thinking of something else. No, a blog is like a journal that you keep online. You might say, We could tell the truth from this website. We could report everything that happens instead of it all being censored, Uncle Nev.
Right, well, how's that protest song coming on? Have you got that worked out or what?
Yeah, we're just about there, Uncle Nev. Darby's here to play the guitar, but he's not saying anything. Do you know why, Uncle Nev?
No, why's that?
Well, apparently if he speaks out the truth to anybody, you know, like newspapers or anything like that, they'll terminate him as a member, Uncle Nev. Expunge him! Expel him! Get rid of him, Uncle Nev!
Oh, crikey. Well, I guess we better sing it then. You just play, son, and we'll sing. You ready? Give me those words while you're in. Twinkle, twinkle, star FM. You better not try and shut us down again.
Yeah, you better not.
'Cause if you do, we promise you, we'll get you into deeper poo. I know how to dish. I got a bit of poo. I can
Yeah,
feel
seal is full.
Twinkle, twinkle, star FM. I like this next bit. Your karma will run you down again.
Ram.
And just you remember what I promised you. I'll drag you into deeper poo. I wonder who's going to be hosting Media Watch this year. Do you know, Jason?
I hope she looks pretty, Uncle Nev.
Twinkle, twinkle, star FM. Don't you try that shit again.
Oh, Uncle Nev.
'Cause if you do, we promise you.
No, I think you're right the first time, Uncle Nev.
We'll drag you into the deepest poo. Well deep, right up your neck, you might say. What do you reckon?
I think it went as well as could be expected, Uncle Nev.
Oh.
Hey, Uncle Nev.
Yeah?
We've run out of time for this week's episode, but remember, everybody, keep your eye open for those ads if this unfortunate business doesn't get resolved.
Oh, it'll get resolved all right. Sing with me, comrade. Well, I've been right up to my neck in it, 'cause I speak right out for the proletariat. I'm Neville from Nangveri in the Gulag. What funny boys and fellows they were, huh? Almost as funny when they squirt the water from the little flower. But you listen to what the young comrade Jesenovich says. He says, you keep eye out on local paper in case there is ad for website to keep you informed of the truth, comrades. My dissident friends, keep the faith. And now, I return you to Mr. Denis Okarelnevich, who is good fighter in the course. Comrade Denis, over to you, Nedvich.